Okay, grab your pen and let's draw just for 10 minutes. How does it feel to start drawing? Is it a relief after days of putting it off? Is it instead excitement to get to work on a picture you've had in mind? Is it the terrified, dutiful exercise of someone who's just trying their best? Did you sit right down all aloof and just found yourself at your desk without knowing how you got there? However it felt to start, here you are, in it. How does it feel to be in it? How does it feel to be listening to my voice? What is the experience of the pencil going across the paper? Are you aware of how much of your visual field is taken up by your drawing right now? Are you clearly recognizing the proportion of your drawing compared to your entire peripheral vision? Probably not. At least, not typically. When you say you're in the flow, you're into it, where are you exactly? When you're in the flow, you just are your drawing. All the inputs that assign to you, your personality, they go away. All you're left with is the inputs that determine the experience of the drawing. You're not even aware of the bare experience of seeing your drawing. You just see it effortlessly. You're not aware you're seeing. And that would include all of the areas of your vision that you aren't drawing in, right? If you were fully aware of the experience of drawing in your field of vision, it would, by contrast, have to include all the areas that aren't drawing right now. But that's not what usually goes on. Instead, your drawing melts away into a concept of your drawing. A mix of the current pea-sized area of your vision that's in focus, mental images of what needs to happen next, and what your drawing could become. And those are all churning on top of a base layer of subtle and whispered thoughts of judgment, analysis, and concerns about your feet being cold or that your sweater really is quite comfy. Try to open to this totality. This is what it feels like to draw. It always feels like this, but it's another different feeling to know that you're knowing this feeling. Get what I'm saying? There's some insights to be found in that space, surely. Well, more than some, actually. But it's also enough that it's terribly interesting to take the occasional look at what it feels like while doing a drawing. It can even be useful because it's a little hard to feel worried about the drawing while you're busy feeling what it feels like to know that you're worried while drawing. This can regress eternally. It quickly becomes an infinite loop. Strangely enough, for something to be a loop, it needs an empty center. The empty center is what allows it to loop. And you can exit that loop at any moment that you choose by just looking out of the empty center instead of a spot on the loop. Zero really couldn't have been any symbol but the one we all agree on. It's a nothing that's something. It's just a loop. What's the center of what you're drawing? Is it just on the page, halfway between the edges? Or did the drawing happen in your mind? Were there any points where your mind was reacting to things that happened on the page first, or at least were experienced that way? and then it gave some feedback. So it can't just be on the page. Well, what about your hand? Is it all in your hand? Is that where the drawing's happening? Is it all of these things? And if all those parts that are linked in a loop are where the drawing happened in a complete sense, what's the center of that? Where do all of those lines cross? Is it behind your face? And where's that feeling of behind happening? Anyway, why wouldn't it be deeply, infinitely interesting to investigate this feeling? This is how it feels to draw, after all. And we love drawing. There's something about this coordination of feelings that brings us back time and again. God, is this what love feels like? Like, well, who doesn't want to gaze awarely on the feeling of love as often as they can? Well, if it's not that, why do we keep doing this? Is it not about this present experience at all? Are you trying to convince yourself that you do it all for the likes, for the business, for the follows? A weak practice indeed. Why, there's none of you in there anywhere, just the actions of others. It's still a practice. You're still an artist. I still think you're doing something incredible, but damn, is it weak compared to the truth? Maybe a truth that you've tricked yourself into forgetting. That you love this and that it loves you. That's what you learn from being aware while you're drawing, from knowing what it feels like to draw. You learn that you return to this space again and again because you must love it, no matter how it feels. So all those feelings are part of that complete feeling. It's being given to you by the experience. And so the experience loves you too. Good for you. Nice to be loved. That's good. But see, you and drawing are in a bit of a conspiracy, a bit of an act. It can't be warm fuzzies all the time because it would get boring. Like anything that stays the same does. It needs to take the course of life. It needs to change to keep you interested. It needs conflict. So drawing agreed to change and hide and bend, and you agreed to forget that you love it ecstatically so that you could experience highs and lows, and that would make you more addicted. And then you both shook on it and said you'd meet every now and then on the very good days, backstage, and laugh at how good you were at forgetting. Did you forget you were drawing? Come on, man, keep it together. We've got work to do. Enough of all that love crap and weird conspiracies with drawing. We have to worry about the real stuff. What kind of temporary job we can get doing this, whether we're as good as other people at it, or if people validate our output in the terms of their transient, culturally conditioned concept of what good art is. 10 minutes a day. Give yourself the rest of your drawing session to be jaded, bored, and closed-minded if you must. But give yourself those first 10 minutes to have your love affair with drawing. No, not have it as if it's not there sometimes. Instead, recognize its presence. And acknowledge that it's both the ups and the downs that constitute the relationship. The full love. It's not just the joyful parts. All right. Another 10 minutes of drawing. It has been a great pleasure practicing with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Onward to the next day.